Okay, welcome to our weekly learning in the office. Big honor, making a l'chaim as well. End of week. Should be a good, strong end to the week. L'chaim for all those who are not able to make l'chaim for all the different reasons, especially the soldiers who are on duty, guarding our borders, protecting humanity from terror and chaos. And big shout out to all the soldiers, especially BORUCH ben MASHA and Avraham Asher ben Sarah and Avi Avraham ben Sarah. Okay, so Mr. Hashem, we should be able to learn good and strong, and to realize that learning halachas for Chanukah will bring in light. Where there's darkness, we need more light. I wrote a little poem, which I'm actually going to read. Put it on the chat in a few places. And it says there's a Twitter, an X, that someone wrote a tefillah, his name's the Love Rabbi. May we never need to squeeze an olive to get its oil. May we never need tragedy to uncover the true beauty of life. May we never need violence to create peace. Let's strive for a world where the light shines effortlessly, where beauty is seen without pain and peace is our natural state. Hashtag peace, hashtag hope, hashtag inspiration. So I wrote a response, a special prayer below. Till then, let's crush away the zaytim, that's the olives. We live in Zayat, please God, that's where I'm sitting right now. Till the light pushes away all the growing darkness. You have to crush the olives to get out the light. So the new extracts of light are coming soon, so I already did put that online. My latest extract on Substack, United Souls. And please God, this tefillah should be Mekayim. We're going to have to work hard in the meanwhile, especially right now, Erev Chanukah. We need to work extra hard to make sure that we're ready for the light that's coming, and especially with the ability to share it with those we love, our family, our friends, our community. And we are learning about now the Seder, the order of Hadlakasan. The procedure for lighting the menorah according to the custom is as follows. On the first night, what do? Just reading it now. On this first night, one lights a lamp that is on his right. So we need to do everything b'derech yamin, the right. Even though, interestingly, Chanukah itself, the menorah is on the left, in the Pesach base of the house, usually. That's the ideal, or the window. Pesach base, so the entrance to the house should have a light. And please God, we put it on the left. Because we're lighting up the left, the lowest place, where the darkness is strongest, below 10 Tefachim. That's the whole Indian of Chanukah during the weekdays, especially the fifth day, which always falls out on the weekday. Even in London, the famous story from Baba Rebbe. That's the avoda. But nevertheless, we light it towards the on the right side of the Chanukah. Laila shniya mosev alav ner keneged smolo. And when it comes to the second night, which is my anniversary, 2 candles become 1, we do that on the left. And that's the idea. So the second night we're lighting towards the left, and each night we're adding towards the left. But each night he lights the additional candle first. So really, you're constantly going towards the right, if that makes sense. One should follow this procedure whether his menorah is located in a window or in the doorway. Additionally, he should position himself so that menorah is on his right, so that when he lights, he begins to light, he encounters the added candle first, avoiding the need to extend his hand past the candle that would not light first. For an alternative method of lighting when the menorah is placed in the doorway, you have to see Halacha 9. So there are different ways of lighting, everyone according to their minhag. Like they do, lighting towards the right, personally. But the idea is you always light the additional candle first. So the new mitzvah each night is the one you're lighting first. The new Mosif HaHolech, the new additional light. That's what you're adding on again and again. Okay, that's the first halacha we're learning. We're lighting on the left side of the door, and we're adding the candle on the right, and every night we're adding an extra candle to the left, and we're lighting that new candle each time. And then he goes to the one to his right, and that's where you continue. So you're already always heading right. Okay, that makes sense. Bilal Rishon, Varech Madlik Kodim Hadlaka. On the first night, the one who's lighting recites before lighting, Gimel Brachas. You have to say 3 blessings. Lahadlik, Ner Shel Chanukah, or Lahadlik Ner Chanukah. There's different reasons to feed Arizal what the exact Lashon is. Lahadlik Ner Shel Chanukah is what the general mitzvah people when they light. Arizal says to remove the shell because there's a very important Rosh Tevis there. Lahadlik Ner Chanukah is Rosh Tevis Nachal. And Nachal, we know, if you learn Torah to Rabbeinu Nachman, Nachal is Nachal Nevei Kol Chachma, the idea of Rosh Tevis Nachman, but it's also this overflowing hashpaz, and it's also part of the Yugim Rachamim, because it has within it the Hashem Kel Rachim V'Chanun Erech Hapan Rav Chesed V'Emes Noseh Chesed Lalofim. Noseh Chesed Lalofim is also Rosh Tevis Nachal. Noseh Chesed Lalofim should be endless kindness. We're drawing down, and there's tremendous mercy being brought down every time we light. So the word shall, even though it makes sense grammatically, but the Arizal remove that for Kabbalistic reasons to make sure that we have the Rosh Tevis of Nachal, Lahadlik Ner Chanukah. That's my minhag. Most people probably say Shel Chanukah, which is fine. Is the second bracha, and on the first night we add an extra third bracha, since it's a new mitzvah, Shechianu, V'kimanu Higyanu Lazman Hazeh. Obviously with the bracha to Hashem, full Shem Malchus. And Sha'asa Nisim says underneath, everyone should do according to their minhag the exact pronunciation. Sha'asa Nisim says here slightly different. She'esa Nisim, I'm not sure if there's such an afkamina. Just read what it says in your machzor is usually the best answer if you're confused about what exactly the pronunciation. Shah Leilis Ein Mavach Shechianu. On the rest of the nights recites the first 2 blessings but does not say the Shechianu. Lachash Abirach Habrachas Malik Ner Echad. After he's recited the blessing, he lights 1 candle. V'hod Madlika Cheres Amar Neres Halalim. And while you're lighting the other candles, so for example the second night you're lighting the second candle, you start already with Haneres Lalalim. Ger Omer Shasa Nisim Yisrael. When the Ger converts, instead of Shasa Nisim Avasenu, he says, who has wrought miracles for Yisrael? It's written here, who has wrought miracles for Yisrael? I've never seen anyone do that. Interestingly, Im Aama Lavasenu Yotza. We said Lavasenu for our fathers fulfilled the mitzvah. And I assume for our generation, I think, I'm not sure, we have to ask a Rav, but it would make sense that people say Avasenu. That makes more sense. It seems a little bit unsensitive to the Geiris, the process, even though that's halacha, and I'm sure it's true. It's based on MS, 100% MS, because you're saying that they did miracles for Israel, not for my fathers. But once you become a ger, you become part of our people, and the miracles that happen to our fathers also happen to your soul fathers in a way, because we're all united on a soul level. That's how I would recommend. So they should say, Shasim Nisim Avasenu B'yom Hamayim Zman Hazeh, in my opinion. But you can ask a Rav if you're a ger. We have a ger friend asking, Imam Avasenu Yotze, because it says a Yotze anyway, according to that Hashkafa point. It says in the Mishnah Berurah rules that a convert may recite the best with the usual word in Avasenu, good, which is what I hashkafically made sense as well. Einu Onen Rotzi Rahman al-Islam, if you're an Onen, Im Yesh Acher, if there's another person, Yadlik Acher Brachas, the other person should light the menorah and recite the blessings. An Onen is one whose immediate relative, parent, spouse, child, or sibling Rahman al-Islam passed away and has not been interred. Generally speaking, an Onen is exempt from all positive mitzvahs. Al-Halakha is applied to an Onen not set out below. in another section in Simon 196. Mishabura writes that his wife should light for him. That would be Ishtaka Gufa, one with our soulmate. That's the beautiful thing. That's why we Yotzi them, so they can be Yotzi us in God forbid, in a state where we have to have them Yotzi, like an Onen, God forbid. Okay, and V'hu Ana Amen, and the Onen should respond Amen, if there's no other person with him, Yadlikhu below brachas. He should light without the blessings. Wow. That although he does not recite the blessings because he's apparently not obligated, he should light the menorah to publicize the miracle. So you see how important it is to generate light, even someone in such serious status of mourning. He should still bring that miracle of light of Hanukkah into the world, even if he doesn't say the blessing, unless someone else is there to do it for him, which would be ideal. And hopefully, this year we should be lighting and saying the blessings without any availus or any of these issues. Kaimalan, we have established a rule. By the way, one of the reasons why we learn halachas is because it gets you out of all the problems. Because by making the effort to learn the laws, then you don't have to go into the issues that would prevent you from keeping them. So then you don't have to go ask the questions at the time because you've already learned them. It's a big preventation for nisyonis. It's a very known thing, like Hilchos Pesach. But learning halachas, it sort of mumtik, it sweetens all the potential scenarios that might bring you to a rav. You're able to be in a good state, hashkafically and spiritually, then you don't need to end up by a rav with problems. Kaimalan, hadlaka osa mitzvah. The lighting fulfills the obligation. Perish hadlaka hi a mitzvah. This means that lighting the menorah constitutes the mitzvah. The act of lighting the menorah is the obligation. That is a mitzvah fulfilled by having the lights in an appropriate place for a minimum amount of time, while the mitzvah is fulfilled when one performs the act of lighting the candles. And this is a Sefer in Kitzur outlines some ramification of this halacha. So the whole idea hadlaka osa mitzvah, perish hadlaka hi a mitzvah. This means that lighting the menorah constitutes a mitzvah. The act of lighting the menorah is the obligation. Shahadlaka suikin lios neiris mekomen harui. So therefore, what's the nafkamina? The nafkamina is that when you're at the time of lighting the candles will be in their proper place. Shir harui, with the proper amount of fuel. That means the amount of oil. In our case, we're using shemazayas or wax. What happens if you now light it below gimel tefachim? So we said it has to be below 10 tefachim, but in the most lechila way, like to Mekayim this Indian, bringing the light lamata, but you can't go too low because if you put it below 3 tefachim, it's considered karka and halacha. Like we learn with suchas, it's halacha called lavud. It comes bottom to the ground completely, and therefore it would be pasul the mitzvah. You won't be Mekayim the mitzvah. Or Lamala Mechaf Aama. What happens if it's above 20 Amas, which is a huge building? 20 Amas is very high. Yeah, it says, let's see what it says underneath. 20 Amas. Doesn't say, but we've had the concept before. It's a very tall building. Yeah, very high. Like I was once in a hotel, the Citadel, so they have a huge chutzah, but it's still below the 20 Amas. So it's a very high amount. And then afterwards, while they are lit, place them in their proper place. Pasulim. So if you lit them in a high place and then brought them down, or lit them in a place that's bottom to the ground, and high place, I mean above 20 amas, like very high, so you can't really see them properly. That's the problem. See if das, and if they're below on the ground, then they're bottom to the ground. Pasulim. They are not valid. It says here and underneath, since the mitzvah in time it's filled by lighting, if the candles were not positioned properly at the time, he cannot later correct it by moving them. Rather, he must extinguish them, move them to their proper place, recite the blessings, and light them again. So obviously we have to make sure the place for lighting is correct, al pi halacha. For the first hour after the menorah was lit, ideally one should not move it at all, even between two equally valid locations. So say you have a place you prefer to move it to. For example, my Rebbe, when he lights, told the Rebbe, he lights beautiful, big silver menorah by this door in the tish room, but it's not going to stay there. For example, the night where he makes his siyum, we make a siyum on Shas together, and he goes downstairs to the shul to make a siyum suda and celebrate his Zayda's Yotzai with Yochanan and Tona. It's first night of Hanukkah. So that first night, he carries on in the tish hall singing and saying Torah, and it's usually always I mean, it's always way more than 30 minutes. So it would be like even an hour sometimes. So that for sure is no issue. And if he was makatzer, which I've never seen him do, if he shortened the amount of time, I'm sure then they would just leave the menorah there until they bring it down after the half an hour. The point, it has to be the full half an hour. And there's tremendous kedusha at that time as well. We've spoken about it. You should pray in front of the menorah at that point. Ideally, you shouldn't be in a situation where you have to rush off to a meeting or to a job or to an event. You should try and have a full half an hour at the time of lighting to just daven and connect with the family. Tremendous eitzvot on, and to waste it on other things going on my opinion, would be a mistake. So, people have all kinds of situations, so, But I think, if we can organize ourselves, that would be ideal. To get the full half an hour and be at the hadlacha. Now, if you're not there, you still get the mitzvah. The main point, it has to be able to be lit for 30 minutes at the correct place. Kenyan b'shas hadlak lo hay shemen kashir. Now, what happens if there's not enough shemen or wax? Achakar hosiv, and somebody can add it, or lo mahani. This is ineffective. It has to be at the time of lighting b'shas hadlacha, that you have the power to do the full 30-minute mitzvah, that in the right place. And that means if it's lacking shemen zayit, oil, or it's lacking wax or whatever it is that's fueling your menorah, and that's kosher, then it would not help if it's lacking the correct amount. So you have to always make sure, even if you add later, it's not enough. You have to make sure that the time of lighting is the correct shear. Since the mitzvah is fulfilled when the candles are lit, all the factors necessary to allow them to burn for half an hour must be in place at that time. You see, everything, it has to be set up to be able to fulfill the mitzvah. One of the concepts I would say at this point is because it's also merames on the menorah of the Beis Hamikdash and menorah of Lasad Lavo, because there's 8 branches which is connected to the Olam Shmini. We're going to talk about that at some point. This 8th level, actually today, our friend Uriel mentioned it at the bris today. This concept of a bris is also 8. It's Ma'ala min HaTeva, Ma'ala min Zman, Shmini, Shmona, Neshama, Shemen. It's all this concept of going beyond. We're learning about it with Rav Shlomo, also about the Shemen being something that's above the water, above the general nations. We have a certain responsibility to bring light to the world. And that concept is something which we have to live up to, and the shemen the oil represents that, and it has to be the right amount of oil. And in the Beis Hamikdash, is such a holy place, we have to make sure that we're doing the mitzvah fully. And with Hanukkah, that's a full half an hour. It's not like a whole night. It's not like making us crazy. A half an hour is a realistic potential for everyone to fulfill. Now, what happens if it's in a place where the wind reaches? And the flame will get extinguished. He hasn't done the mitzvah, and he has to now light again in a place where there will not be wind. He should not recite the blessings again. Why? Because maybe it wasn't going to blow. Maybe I think that's as far. Presumably, Kitzur refers to all the 4 aforementioned cases. However, Mishnah Berurah writes, if one lit menorah above 20 amas, he must recite the blessing before lighting again in a proper location. So we see where you don't have to is when there's a wind. That's the nafkamina with the wind. It blows it out, so you have to move it and light again, but you don't have to say new blessings. Aval im omdin karoi. If we place him in a proper place, mikra kavuya, and by chance they're extinguished afterwards, like happens once. The Talmud Rebbe himself, it's a famous story on Shabbos. When he was a little boy, he knocked over the menorah of his Zayda in Shabbos. And that was a different story. It wasn't the menorah, sorry. That was a Chanukah, mixing up a story with Pesach. Pesach, he came in one time with something chametz, and it was Pesach Shabbos. So the Rebbe knew that he wasn't able to burn it, Rav Yochanan Tona. He just put a pot on top, and he was samech with his grandson for giving him the opportunity to do a new halacha that he'd never done before. And so too, it wasn't the Talmud Rebbe, it was a different tzaddik where I saw a kid knock over the menorah, and he danced around like, now I have the mitzvah of controlling myself, and also of, if it wasn't on Shabbos, you could relight it, and you don't have to, but it's nice. But these are special in Yonah. They definitely don't have to make a new bracha. So they're extinguished after Kai mitzvah. He's already fulfilled the mitzvah and he need not light the menorah again. But people do. Yeah, it's a nice thing to do, is bringing light into the world. We want to do it. In the case, as long as he has not properly lit the candles, he fulfilled the requirement. As far as that, they went out on their own afterward. This is true even if all the candles were extinguished. If the flame never took hold of the wick and is certain to go out after a few moments, he must light it again. If one lit the menorah properly, but then intentionally extinguished the menorah, he should light it again. He's not reciting. So if it's by accident, only if it's by accident. Yeah. So that Shabbos story of someone knocking it over, you had the ability to fulfill the mitzvah. You don't have to worry about it. And therefore, Baruch Hashem, you did the mitzvah. And Shalom Yisrael, you don't have to get upset. It's not a chesaron. Things happen in life, and with kids and family. And the most important thing is you keep your head. You keep your yeshiva das, your rosh. Your mind is still there, and your sameach. Hashem wants us to be happy, not to go crazy for mitzvahs. However, this is like, nevertheless, the custom is to light them again when they do get knocked out, or not on Shabbos, obviously. This should be certainly done on Erev Shabbos when the lighting is performed earlier than the usual time. Okay, so that's important to know, because Erev Shabbos we light earlier, so if they get put out, try light them again. No blessings are required when they light the menorah the second time. That Erev Shabbos situation. They get put out. It's customary to be stringent and not light one candle from another. Rather, you should light them from the flame of the shamish or ner acher, or for some other candle. So this is a beautiful concept, that we have this concept of shamish. We mishamish, a tamachochem, a mishamish, a gabbai is mishamish a rebbe. So the candle, the shamish, is serving the other candles. And so rather than lighting from candle to candle of the mitzvah, we don't do that. We have a shamish. Now, some have a custom to light a shamish and to have another shamish that lights all of them. That's what the Hasidim do. My Rebbe lights a big shamish candle, which we leave lit the whole time. And we use the smaller shamish to go and light all the other candles. And if that smaller shamish goes out, then we light again from the bigger shamish, but not from the menorah candles themselves. The idea is that there's a certain shimush, and now if you add the numerical value of 36 candles of Hanukkah, which is a mitzvah, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 all the way up to 8, multiply it, that turns into 36 candles total. We said that's Lamed Vav Neiris, Lamed Vav Tzadikim, Lamed Vav Shos, of Shabbos, of Adam Rishon. There's lots of inyanim of Lamed Vav Sectors in Shas. Baruch Hashem, we're finishing Baba Basra this week. We have a simcha, and also we had the schus of Kislev has a lot of awe from the Chabad, a lot of awe of the Mittler Rebbe, and the Mittler Rebbe's Yeshuas and his Yotzai. There's a lot of awe right now in the world during this Chodesh. Vayishlach, we're turning the darkness of Esav through the Beis Yaakov Eish, Beis Yosef Lahava, and the Yosef is in your Mosef Aholech, of constantly adding a candle till we get to the 36. So there's now another 8 new candles that we're including in this cheshbon, which are the shamish, the one that each night we use to light all the candles. And that extra candle each night, 8 plus 36 is 44. What's that spell out? 44 is gematria dam. And interesting, Joe Rogan was talking about the specialness of Hebrews, and there's no other language that has numerical values and has such deep mystical reasons and shorishes. So he himself is in awe of the language, and please God in the right time will have the right shliach to explain it more deeply than he had today from some guy. Did a good job, but still not good enough. Yeah, there's still so much to say to someone like him who's interested in it. But the concept all goyim, that the light will go out through the 44 candles. How this 44? It's the dam, the blood. Because we know from Am Yisrael's history, and we know from Bris Milah, from Dam Milah, that we are giving up everything for Hashem, even our blood. We fast for Hashem, we fight for Hashem. And this concept of blood, damai chayi, that through my blood we will live, you will live. We said it at the bris this morning, and bris is a big part of Hanukkah as well, so the 8 days. So the idea, these 8 extra candles turn the 36 into dam, the Mesiras Nefesh, the dedication that Am Yisrael have, and that's the key, the Beis Yosef Lahava, this fire that will go out, this flame from the Beis Yaakov, from the Eish, in this week's Parshat Vayishlach, and burn up all the cash of Esav, even though they seem so numerous. It's such powerful people, the family of Esav. This little flame will ignite the cash, the straw of Esav. Cash is Rosh Hashanah's kina v'sina, the hatred and jealousy that's in the world towards our people. through the love, the emes and shalom, the truth and the peace of the Eish, Rosh Tevis Eish, will burn up the Kash, the Kina and Sina, through the flame of Yosef Asadik and the flame of Hanukkah. And that's a tremendous nevuah that comes down every year, Parshat Vayishlach and Torah and Avadia, and the idea that we have this power to extinguish the darkness and the materialism that's overwhelming a lot of the world. So we're just going to now say a little shtickle from Bnei Yissacher.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Baruch Hashem. V'od taven nefilo yitein lekotav hanes hazeh ba'oz ki remez lo'or rishon. So yeah, one of the things he's talking about again and again, we have to remind ourselves that just the first night itself isn't itself included in the miracle. That's one of the chedushim of the explanations, that there's 8 days. And we learned last time this concept, and we should go back to the previous, was very deep from Bnei Yissacher, about the concept of the first night also being part of the miracle. And so the whole 8 days has a kedusha of Hanukkah and the nes of Hanukkah, not just once after the first day it seemed like natural that the candles stay lit, so only the rest of the time was the miracle. No, the whole 8 days was miraculous. The fact that we had the Pachshel Shemen of the Kohen Gadol, and the fact that the ability of us to be able to bring light at that time of darkness was a miracle in itself, like we're seeing right now with our family, my son in Syria, and our other friends' sons in Gaza, and other friends' sons and some of our friends even in Lebanon, and everything that's going on. It's a complete miracle that we're able to be strong and go ahead after everything we've gone through, and to bring that light of Hanukkah even more. Tonight we're having Nissim Black concert. Nissim, his birthday is this time of year, because his whole essence is miracles, and it would be nice to go and see him perform and sing. And then he's got his Hanukkah tour and all the other artists who bring light to the world through their music, and all these speakers, please God, and Shlomo and everyone. We get to share the light of Torah in an inspirational, miraculous way, that it goes beyond, it goes outwards. So we'll end off from Bnei Yissacher. He says, Mahajim and Ahajim, this whole concept that we are all doing this mitzvah of adding a candle every night, and we're doing it in the most Mahajin way. He says, the Bereinu Doresh Aruch Nechmad B'mayma, Shari B'Yissacher, he has a Sefer called Shari Yissacher, Kapir Mayma Hazal, Asid HaKodesh Baruch Hu La'anchil L'chol Sadik Shai Alomis, Doshenu Misham L'chan, Ha'galesi L'kapa Devarim. So we're going to see in the future, Hashem's going to bring to every Sadik these 310 worlds, and we're going to learn out from here, and explain these deep, powerful things that we're doing just by keeping this mitzvah. These 310 worlds that will open up to us. So we just learned that if you put a Hanukkah candle above 20 amas, it's basula, and this is just one aspect of the halacha. So what the Milchama was, the war then was, and probably still is now, because it's an eternal war, that the Yevonim, they wanted us to be caught up with external wisdoms, and they wanted it to battle, to nullify the wisdom of the Torah, this eternal light that Am Yisrael's job is here to reveal and bring out and Mekayim. But Asa Yeshua hina liyehudim haisa oira menorah ne mitzvah Torah or v'shem and kol remez lahachmas Torah. So we've seen many times already that the ne mitzvah Torah or and the shemen, the oil, is a part of this Chochmah Shel Torah. So that's the victory, that we're lighting it up, the Chochmah Shel Torah, so to show that the Chochmas Chitzonim, these external wisdoms, are not victorious. And that was the whole idea that Arizal explains the days of Rabbi Gamliel, when we had in Avnei, we had the Sanhedrin there. He was fixing the crown of the heavenly kingdom. How? Through this bracha of adding a 19th bracha. Ki kodem is gabra minim lo haikoach avonas lepogama keser lo hayomim brachas. So before that, we weren't able, through our sins, we weren't able to fix up the crown that had been blemished of Hashem, the Omal Hashem, the crown, the keser Shemayim, this crown of Shemayim, that we weren't able to have it fixed until we'd established this 19th blessing in Shemona Esrei, which is part, we know, the whole extra tefillah of Ala Nissim is included in getting rid of all the Yevonim, because of the fight that we had with them. And it was a spiritual fight, not just a physical fight. Achach is Gabra Minis, Bavasena Rabbim Higir Bagamze, Gam Kasar, and Esakim Brachazud Takin Kasar. So this 19th bracha gives us the power to fix up this crown. Esrim Hu Soid Kesa. Esrim, 20 amas, is the secret of the crown. You say the Or Yasha Va'or Choze Hine Kesa Hu Esrim. And in the Seder of the Or Yasha, this straight light and this returning light, this is Kesa, this is 20 amas. Gam Ze Esrim Gematria Kesa. So if you take the word Esrim, 20, it's the same numerical value as Kesa. So only the Heiliger Aleph base has the ability to explain deep secrets like this. And so the Esrim is Gematria Kesa. Matatavin Gam Shagavris Yavanim Ha'aminos. So they were trying to give us apikosis and take us away. V'minis Begam Megia Ad Lekasa. And the problem is, Chas Shalom, is it's a blemish all the way to the top. Im Kozei Yisrael Kedoshim Lo Nispatu Leminis Masu Nafsham Al Dava Logia Begam Ad Lasham Al Kain Zachazeh Chiev Hanacha Ner Hanaka Lamatam Esim Daika. One of the things people have questions, with how creation's formed, and they look at the Parshat Vayishlach, and there's this whole concept of Vayishlach, and I feel connected to this because people have told me, Tzaddikim have told me I have a neshama from the Olam of Tol, Olam of chaos, and that's connected very much to the world where Esav comes from, the soul of chaos. And Yaakov's neshama is more connected to Olam of Tikkun, but I'm a Yid, I'm a Kohen. But that was the whole point, that Am Yisrael took the Kohuna from Esav, and this place of chaos, of the Olam Hazeh, of this world, of all the balagan that goes on, and they were able to fix this world of chaos, of Tol, through Tikkun, through constantly bringing it through Korbanos. Instead of killing, we shecht an animal. Like we fix up all these chaotic ways and bring everything back to Seder, back to Or Yasha, Or Chose, as you brought before. So the idea of bringing the Menorah below Esrim Aama is we're bringing the Kesser back to its Tikkun, the crown, and we're fixing up any of the Chetzonius thoughts, the chaos that Esav got part of, and that's why the king constantly dies. It keeps bringing this concept of the king of Esav, another king of Esav dies. There's 8 of them. Only the 8th one doesn't die, and that's because his name was Hada, which is connected to the idea of Mahajim and Mahajim. This concept is very deep Torah, but even in the Parshat of Vayishlach with the 8 kings of Esav, we see it in. So Mahajim and Mahajim, this idea of the tikkun of minas, of apikosis, with the chokhmas of Torah, and the chokhmas of the Shem and the Menorah. Anyway, there's so much deep Kabbalah going on in Panimis and mystical Torah in the Chanukah, and the more you learn, the more you want to learn, and there's a ribui of Torah Shabbat Peh, tremendous light, abundance of light at this time of year, especially Chanukah and Purim, where we have these 2 rabbinic festivals which increase the Torah Shabbat Peh, increase the Or Shel Torah in the world. And that increase in awe comes dafka at a time of darkness. And this year it's Mamish Xmas. So we wish everyone a happy new year for those who celebrate that. And for us, Zos Chanukah is almost a new year as well in some way. New Shefa coming down. It's the completion of the Petek that we talked about in Hoshana Rabbah. Gets finally the Chasima, the full Shlemus of the Chasima comes down. Some say even Shabbatim. But we'll say Zos Chanukah is already a completion. That will be the day hopefully I'll be closer to all of you in physical proximity, but the most important thing is we're all together on this level of neshama, and we have a pure connection to Hashem, like the Shem and Zach, and please God be Zocher to the Oresh of Mashiach, and a beautiful Shabbos Kodesh, Vayishlach Yaakov. We should be Zocher to the Eish of Yosef Asadik, the most of Holech of Hanukkah, Amen.